What if a military aircraft silently crossed into another nation's airspace, and we only noticed because thousands of people were watching flight trackers in real time? Radar platforms like Flight Radar 24 suddenly lit up when a U.S. Navy F-18 fighter jet call sign Rhino 51 appeared to approach Venezuelan territory before abruptly turning off its transponder and vanishing from public view. Was it a ghost on the radar, a projection error, or something more deliberate? The truth, as always, sits somewhere in the gray zone. Flight Radar 24 later explained that tracking military aircraft is not always precise. When signals disappear, especially over water or in areas with limited sensors, the platform may rely on estimations rather than exact positions. In other words, what looked like a violation may have been a radar interpretation, not definitive proof of an incursion. But make no mistake, something unusual is unfolding over the skies and seas of the Caribbean. What is certain is that at least 2 U.S. Navy F-18 fighter jets were tracked operating inside the Gulf of Venezuela, an area that holds both geographic and strategic sensitivity. These were not brief transits or distant patrols. Radar data shows the aircraft maneuvering within the Gulf for an extended period of time, flying deliberate patterns that suggest purposeful activity rather than routine passage. According to open-source tracking and aviation analysis, these F-18s likely originated from the Gerald Ford, the most advanced aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy's fleet. That detail is significant because carrier-based flights are rarely spontaneous. They are carefully planned, coordinated, and executed as part of broader operational objectives. When fighter jets operate this close to a national coastline, it naturally raises questions about intent, messaging, and timing. Were these flights meant to test reactions, to demonstrate presence, or simply to operate in international airspace while remaining highly visible? The answer is not clear, but the proximity alone makes the activity noteworthy. Recently, U.S. authorities seized a Venezuelan oil tanker operating in the Caribbean, citing sanctions enforcement. The action took place just as a legal authorization was about to expire, a detail that immediately drew the attention of analysts and observers. For Venezuela, the seizure was condemned as an aggressive act while U.S. officials described it as a lawful and necessary measure. What adds another layer of tension is how the operation was carried out. According to available reports, helicopters involved in the seizure were deployed from the Gerald Ford, directly linking the action at sea to the same carrier strike group whose aircraft had been operating near Venezuelan airspace. Regardless of interpretation, the impact was immediate. The situation shifted from aerial and naval positioning to direct economic pressure. When a tanker seizure is carried out alongside visible fighter flights, carrier movements, and helicopter operations from the same platform, the combined effect becomes difficult to dismiss as coincidence. Each move reinforces the others, creating an atmosphere of sustained tension rather than isolated incidents. Behind the aircraft activity lies a much larger and more powerful presence. The Gerald Ford, the largest and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier ever built, has been moving through the Caribbean after departing from St. Thomas. A carrier of this class represents far more than a single ship. It functions as a mobile air base capable of projecting power across vast distances. On board the Gerald Ford are dozens of aircraft, including F-18 Super Hornets, electronic warfare platforms, airborne early warning aircraft, and logistical support planes. Accompanying the carrier are destroyers and support vessels that together form a full carrier strike group. When such a formation positions itself in a region, it is rarely accidental and almost never without strategic intent. Its proximity to Venezuela combined with increased air activity suggests that the current movements are part of a broader operational posture rather than isolated events. Adding another layer to the situation is the deployment of additional EA-18G Growler aircraft to the Caribbean. These jets are designed specifically for electronic warfare with the ability to disrupt radar systems, communications, and sensors. Their presence indicates preparation for complex operational environments, not routine patrols. This is also not without precedent. In previous periods of heightened tension, U.S. military activity in the region has included flights by long-range strategic aircraft such as B-52 bombers. When fighter jets, electronic warfare platforms, and strategic assets appear in the same theater, it suggests a coordinated approach rather than independent movements. The pattern that emerges points toward readiness and deterrence, even if no official statements describe it as such. The air activity is mirrored by developments at sea. Multiple U.S. naval vessels are currently operating throughout the Caribbean with movement patterns that indicate coordination and flexibility. These ships provide surveillance, security, and rapid response capabilities, allowing forces to shift quickly if the situation changes. Such deployments exert pressure without direct confrontation. They signal capability and presence while stopping short of overt escalation. In regions where political and economic tensions are already high, this kind of posture can significantly influence decision-making even in the absence of formal announcements.